Fans are losing interest in WWE day by day due to its repetitive content. We all love a good return, but I guess at a certain point, probably around return 68, it just gets repetitive. Return number 69 is gonna hit hard.
Oh my god, it's Roman Reigns! I totally saw that coming!
Now some blame Mr. TKO, some blame Paul Lebescoin. But I asked y'all, what is it exactly that you hate about the WWE right now? And y'all went crazy. I could literally turn this into series. We're all ready to be hating as a bitch. So before we do that, I want y'all to participate in excessive glazing. Glazing people by clicking that like button. Glaze me up. You know, that's exactly what I need today. We have a lot of thoughts. So let me mark up and hit you with that. Well, actually, let's see what y'all got. Raw and SmackDown is the exact same format every show. Someone cuts a promo at the start of the show, gets cut off by the rival, then a tag team match is set for the main event. This is not even a joke, people. This is literally the format for every episode of Raw. Especially you have LA Knight and Jey Uso, you have Division, and a tag team match is set. But you forgot one key difference. Sometimes you get that Roman return, sometimes you don't. That's one of the biggest reasons why sometimes you just don't get that Raw review from yours truly, people, because, you know, it's the same show every week, and at a certain point, even if it's not a bad show, you just kinda don't really have anything left to say. You know, been there, done that. The top superstars such as CM Punk, Roman Reigns, Randy Orton, and even Seth Rollins barely wrestle in an episode of Raw or SmackDown. They only wrestle at PLEs. I miss the times when we got top superstars wrestling on televised shows every couple of weeks. Okay, so I get your point. You know, there's two ways to look at it. First of all, it's kinda good that WWE are protecting older guys like CM Punk and kinda making Roman's matches a bit more special. Randy Orton had a lot of injuries. It sort of makes sense, but obviously takes away from the product. Now, also, I have no idea what the hell I'm showing you on the screen right now, but these are random episodes of Raw and SmackDown. Look at the talent. Look at the talent. Whatever I'm showing you right now, it must feel big, people. I don't know if it's one of these takes or situations where you can be right or wrong, but you're factually correct. We don't see these guys wrestling often on WWE television, and I kinda miss that too, honestly. You know, we don't have to get it every week, but every time I see a CM Punk match, I get super excited. Then again, isn't that the whole idea? Making it feel special. The way title holders champions are booked, we cannot expect any change randomly in this era. So sometimes we do get these Intercontinental United States Championship title changes even on Raw. I guess the biggest problem is that we don't really expect any changes on random ass premium live events. You know, we have SummerSlam, WrestleMania, then you can expect big moments, you can expect big returns. Maybe The Rock is gonna show up and do which we still don't know what actually means. But what about the B-level pay-per-views? They're not bad shows. Definitely not, the wrestling is good. But more and more people, they feel like house shows. You know, it's kinda crazy we can't expect shit to happen on these random ass premium live events, and it kinda takes away from the whole experience. TKO, self-explanatory, the way WWE just generally feels right now. Like I don't even know how to, you know, my English is limited in the first place. And now you expect me to come up with some fucking, it feels like we're not fans. We're consumers. We're consuming this shit. We're a number. They're gonna get more money out of you and they're gonna tell you how it's a good thing. The fact that there's no new fresh storylines and how it feels like we've been watching the same episode every week since Mania. The second part of this is definitely true, but I gotta agree with the first part too. Basically, it feels like, you know, I appreciate long-term booking. Hit me with that long-term booking. Give me stories, but sometimes it just drags for way too long, and sometimes it has diminishing returns. You know, obviously, in theory, you build anticipation, which is good, which is the entire point of professional wrestling. But people Lamborghini or whatever. I don't use TikTok, I don't watch shorts, I don't care about it. But I know majority of people, well, their attention span is cooked. But even I can admit sometimes these storylines drag. Instead of building anticipation, you're just kinda making people lose interest. And I too want something fresh. Maybe that's one of the reasons why I want the draft back. Friend of the channel, Assemble, says show openings are always the same. Superstars entering the arena. By the time we get done with the introductions, it's been almost 10 minutes before someone speaks. It'd be a wild idea to start the show with a wrestling match. Love the content, great one. Thank you very much, appreciate your content myself. Now people, look, when it started, it was this fresh new idea. It looked very natural. We saw people in their casual attires coming to the arena with luggage. It looked fresh. It looked exciting. Kinda loses its point when you see that every single show, and it might be a hot take, I don't really like it in the first place. Maybe I did. once or twice. I like the entrances they make through the gorilla, but at the same time it kinda ruins the whole mystery of professional wrestling. I thought about it and I feel like I don't really wanna know what's happening behind the Titantron. Maybe they're magically just appearing out of nowhere. I don't wanna know. Wrestling used to feel like this whole different universe, and now it doesn't anymore. And I don't know how to feel about that. TKO, as much as people like to blame Triple H for various decisions, mostly it is because of TKO bullshit. Remember, it wasn't Triple H's idea to bring The Rock back for the Cody Cena storyline, it was TKO's that kind of ruined almost the entire Cena heel run because The Rock wouldn't show up again. Exactly, and I'm not glazing Triple H. People always misunderstand this shit. He's just a messenger, half of the time. Somebody come up with some wild ass shit, The Rock commits and then says, nah, actually I'm gonna chill. Who's gonna take the blame? The booker, Triple H, the one who we believe is making all these storylines. We all thought this storyline is probably going to conclude with John Cena turning on The Rock and turning babyface. So not only that didn't happen, we didn't see The Rock at all. How they treated John in his retirement tour. Well, I guess I just answered that. I gotta agree. One of the biggest heel turns of all time. Easiest booking ever. Like, seriously. Maybe it's hard to come up with these storylines and make people excited. People are already excited. All you need to do is do something. And you didn't do nothing. The John Cena that turned heel wasn't the same John Cena we saw later. The people from the WWE, you had one job. You really had one job. The company is no longer controlled by someone who loves the business. Vince's product got really bad in his later years, and he wasn't a good person, obviously, but at least he loved and cared about wrestling. TKO doesn't respect or care about wrestling. They only see wrestling as a lucrative opportunity for profit. I don't want Vince back by any means, but some of the stuff that TKO has been doing would have never happened under Vince. Why is it so hard to admit that? Yes, Vince McMahon actually cared about something, he was good at something, and wasn't a very good person. Why is it so hard just to say, yeah, I preferred Vince as a booker? I'm not saying I do, I'm just saying, why is it so hard to say? Why can't we, these are two different situations. You can say Vince McMahon was the greatest wrestling character of all time. It just so happens to be that in his personal life, he liked to take shits on people and stuff, do wild stuff. These are two different things. And yes, I agree, Vince McMahon loved this. For all his faults, he did love professional wrestling. And TKO, yes, they see it as a lucrative opportunity. They're squeezing every single dollar, and that's exactly what they said. They actually tried to, insult Vince McMahon by saying, well, he didn't use every opportunity to get the money. Which, is kind of crazy. Maybe don't say that. With all the shady business tactics from Vince McMahon, there was at least this, I love professional wrestling. I would never put a Slim Jim logo on a table. We gotta respect the tradition somewhat. It is more about hero versus villains nowadays. Back when fans didn't know who to support or who to despise, it was pure chaos and I loved it. I'm not sure if I understand your point. I feel like it was always about heroes versus villains. I would go as far as saying that nowadays the line is kinda blurred. Like, some of these storylines do make a bit more sense. They actually acknowledge that we had a rivalry even though we're both kinda baby faces officially. We don't have to get along. I think WWE are actually doing that pretty okay right now. I don't actually remember the times when we didn't have baby faces or heels. How expensive everything is. Like, come on, I've had to quit watching PLEs just because I live in America. A middle class family can't keep doing this anymore. One of the few things I actually still had respect for Vince. By the way, love the vids. Thank you very much. Yes, everybody's dealing with a different financial situation, and obviously TKO ain't gonna understand your struggles. For some people, it's just going to be extra $30, and for some people, it's gonna be the last straw. That's why it's so crazy that some people are actually defending the increasing prices in the WWE. Like, good for you, you make the money, you're not gonna feel the difference. Good for you. Have some sympathy for people who are, gonna struggle with this shit. One thing I hate is how uneventful the shows are, but then something big happens when for the past few weeks they didn't give you a reason to watch in the first place. Yeah, sometimes it does feel like damage control in a way. Like, the product is so bad they gotta come up with something. But in a way, I wish they could somewhat give you a decent product every week. And don't get me wrong, the product ain't that bad. Like, I've been watching WWE since 2004. There've been some bad bad times. Some bad times. But I kinda get where you're coming from. Champions don't feel like big deals like back in the day. Even during the brand split of 2016, the World Championships and even the Midcard Championships felt like it meant something. I guess it also kinda depends on who's holding the championship. When you're talking about 2016, Brock Lesnar was holding these championships most of the time, so it kinda makes sense that he mattered. I feel like your point makes the most sense when we're talking about the Intercontinental Championship. The Miz with the IC Championship of Ziggler or Ambrose, but is that actually true? Or is it because before 2016, the Intercontinental Championship was absolute garbage? So maybe we got used to the fact that this championship kinda means something. Although I'm gonna say, we don't get these rivalries anymore, man. The fact that the ending of episodes give the viewer no incentive or reason to want to tune in next week. It's always a bland ending and no cliffhangers or things to anticipate. Something I've been complaining about for years probably now. For years. Every good show, TV show, it makes you want to binge that shit because you want to know what's gonna happen next. I don't care about what happens next on Monday Night Raw because I know what's gonna happen next. A tag team match in the main event. It's so predictable too. Sometimes they are kinda doing it right, like, oh my god, LA Knight just hit Jey Uso with his finisher. But we're so familiar with the product, we know how WWE are booking things, we know it didn't really mean anything. Pulling the curtain back on kayfabe, almost no one aside from maybe Drew McIntyre is in character all the time. There's a dedicated Netflix series to showing what happens behind the scenes. As a kid, I legitimately believed Undertaker was risen from death. Knowing what happens behind the scenes used to be like a guilty pleasure in a way, like it was illegal. Like, oh my god, I know what happened. I hear rumors. Is it true or not? I don't know. I heard it in a shoot interview, and it felt kinda special. Now when you're showing it to me, I don't know how to feel about it. I don't mind the interviews. I wish WWE themselves wouldn't do that. I want to get lost in the world of professional wrestling, and you keep telling me it's fake and none of it matters and it's scripted and this is how it ended. No. I don't like that. I guess it's always like, seeing a great movie scene and you keep wondering, how did they actually do that? And then you see a video, there's a green screen and this and that, and you're like, oh, it doesn't feel special anymore. Def Rebel. How are they still in the WWE? Can somebody explain? With the garbage they're putting out every week, I've played with AI music just for shits and giggles, I don't know what to tell you, man. WWE can hire me. I would put on some bangers and it's not even me doing it. How are you worse than AI? All freaking Nepo kids getting pushed. Solo, Dominic, Jacob Fatu, Braun Breaker, and Jey Uso, and deserving superstars like AJ Styles, Finn Balor, Austin Theory, and Carmelo Hayes getting buried. Well, the thing is, the Nepo kids you mentioned are actually pretty good. Solo is decent. Still not really into his character. Dominic is amazing. Jacob Fatu is great. Future of the WWE, one of the top guys. Braun Breaker, next face of the company. Jey Uso, well, say what you will, popular with the crowd. AJ Styles is literally ending his career. Finn Balor lost the aura, unfortunately. I will give you this. I don't understand why the demon is not back. Like, one of the biggest things he came up when it comes to his character, and it's not being used. That's kind of wild. Austin Theory and Carmelo Hayes, they still have a lot of time. I will say when it comes to Austin Theory, I don't understand why they buried him in the first place. He wasn't bad. Survivor Series being War Games and not Survivor Series. I like the concept of War Games. These matches are really fun, even if repetitive sometimes. I don't know, this is gonna sound stupid. I miss SmackDown versus Raw matches. I don't know what it's about it. I liked it. People wearing blue, people wearing red. It's a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Eliminations, man, I love eliminations. In any capacity, eliminations are good. Imagine if War Games matches had eliminations. I like the idea of that. Probably sounds stupid as hell. Stop writing that comment. I'm not really feeling how WWE does it nowadays. They keep protecting a wrestler's image too much. Like, instead of a clean win, they'll go for a DQ or some messy finish. It just doesn't hit the same as before when wins and losses felt more legit. Well, they always kinda did that. But sometimes, what pisses me off is that sometimes during a Raw episode, it happens like 3 times. And like I've said, sometimes it makes these DQ finishes are basically here to protect wrestlers. Nobody loses, actually. But let's admit, people, when we get that DQ finish, we always feel like, well, our time was wasted, this was for nothing. Like literally, I've just watched a 15-minute match and it didn't mean anything. Celebrities being involved in every single event. For example, the Mania 41 Night 2 incident. Yeah, WWE got too comfortable basically. You know, they got way too comfortable. It's good that they're trying to get new fans, I understand that. But this was basically a spit in the face to every actual wrestling fan. Like, not a single wrestling fan soul cared about Travis Scott showing up when they expected The Rock. Like it surprises me that somehow this stupid ass idea actually made it to TV. All the random tag team matches just to get people on TV in the main events. I personally agree because I believe good product beats wrestlers getting exposure because you can switch it up. One week you have these wrestlers wrestling, the next week you have other wrestlers wrestling. But then again, if you don't have these multi-man tag team matches, somebody is going to complain that, oh my god, this person missed an episode of Raw. The IWC is really what I hate. They act like immature kids. I used to feel that way. People, but now I just relish in chaos. I love that shit. If you say dumb shit and I can make fun of it, if some of the shit wrestling fans are spewing can make me feel like a genius, I think that's a good thing. You know, people, I don't really care what other people think about a show, you know, a match. If I liked it, I liked it. And I'm gonna say that I actually liked it because it's my opinion, it's my experience, how I viewed it. Maybe I was drunk. Maybe I was drunk as shit and I liked the match. Maybe I liked Jey Uso versus Jimmy, which I didn't. And somebody probably did like it. And who am I to say that you can't enjoy it? In my opinion, the worst, dumbest wrestling fans are the ones who are very active in conversations about like Brock Lesnar, for example. And they have no idea what the fuck they're talking about. Sometimes you see shit on the internet and you're like, how did you even come up with that? The focus on older talent. Well, you kinda need that. It's all about the star power. There's a difference between CM Punk being the most popular dude on the roster and getting main event matches, possibly even championships, and then Goldberg, who can barely wrestle at this point and winning a championship, beating The Fiend. Gotta find that balance. It's not black and white. Apples and oranges, penises and pencils. Also, without the old talent, it's really hard to get the young talent over. The fact that I have to go to 2 different TV channels for SmackDown and NXT, a Netflix subscription for Raw, and another subscription for PLEs. Man, I feel sorry for y'all for doing this shit, man. If my thick European accent didn't give it away already, I'm a European from Lithuania, so I don't really have to deal with this. It's crazy when I hear this shit, man. All I need, like literally, some of you don't know this. All I need is Netflix. That's literally all I need. Raw, SmackDown, NXT, premium live events, whatever you want. I hate being a complaining ass bitch, but that's exactly what we're gonna do right now with the WWE because they kinda earned it. It's kinda boring now. I guess in this video we pretty much got to every reason why WWE is just not hitting the same right now. Let me know more in the comments below. Thank you for watching. Great One Piece, love and hugs. It's been a pleasure.